everything happens for a reason. So I was on YouTube and I was looking at one of my videos that I did on Prince. It was like the very first video I did on him, and it was titled Prince is Woke. And I actually want to talk about that video, talk about one of the things that I talked about, which was his transition or his name change into the symbol. And y'all, if y'all don't know, he had two symbols, but I actually want to talk about the first one. Now, if we're talking about a spiritual awakening journey, because I'm going to use Prince, because Prince actually went through one. That's the thing that people don't know. He actually went through one, but he never talked about it. Nobody knew how he knew what he knew at that time. So, I'm going to talk about that. So, if you notice throughout Prince's career, starting at 19, he knew he wanted to do music. It's always something he wanted to do. But as we can see with the music industry, you don't get to be the person you want to be because you're made in someone else's image. Somebody tells you what you have to do, what you have to wear, your hairstyles and everything. They're basically making you into the person that they want you to be. And y'all know Prince's battle with Warner Brothers, his ownership of his stuff, it wasn't his. His music was never his from the beginning, if y'all ever even really noticed, because being signed to the contract means that you're signed to that contract. And like, he was put in their image. They were telling him what music to do, what music he couldn't put out, everything. So he wasn't himself, and that was like a struggle. So he had to get out. He knew he had to get out. And that was the beginning of the change. It started earlier, but it took him a long time to understand that he was getting signs and signals from guides, from the universe, from his ancestors, that he needed to get out and be his own person. See, in the beginning, it's kind of confusing because he didn't know how to do it. He had to have resources, he had to have help. And y'all know, once he got free, he was able to begin this process of finding himself, trying to know more about himself, because it's kind of obvious that he didn't know what all he could do. Like, he knew he could play a lot of instruments, but his direction in music is like, he wasn't really putting out music that sounded like him. He was putting out music that everybody else wanted still, even in freedom. But the time that that first symbol came about, sorry y'all, I'm adjusting my phone a lot. I feel like I'm gonna drop it. But the time that that symbol came about was the first development into his transition. That symbol was actually his transition. And I believe the transition happened because he got the call to make a transition. It was his destiny. It was written for him in his soul contract. He always had to figure things out. He always had to work on himself, find himself. And he was still finding himself for a long time until something kind of, sparked. And in the beginning, y'all know he had relationship problems, and him and Maite lost their child and lost their unborn child that they didn't have yet. She miscarried. And it was just his awakening. He was going through awakenings. He was going through signs and signals that, okay, something's got to change. You have to make a change. You have to do better. And it's not that he had to get rid of the people that he had with him. It's just that, like I said at the end of the video, if y'all watched it, he had to let people go so they could grow, so he could grow, so he won't be doing the same things all over again. You know what I'm saying? He had to put people in his life that were like-minded, were like him, believed in God, believed in, certain things that other people didn't believe in. Y'all see what I'm saying? He believed in the unseen. He believed in a spiritual side. And I want y'all to go look at his interviews, because y'all can say I don't know what I'm talking about, but he says it right there in his interviews. He really does. But he had to figure out who he was and how he was going to navigate his life. And he was being guided and shown paths that he could take, but he had to make the choices himself. So this is what it's like going through a spiritual journey. It's not always going to be easy. You're going to be presented with different paths, temptations, and everything else that could come your way to make you feel like you're failing, to make you feel like all these negative things are happening to you because they should be happening to you. That's literally what I think Prince thought. Like, he literally thought his relationship problems, the loss of his children, was happening to him because he deserved it, because he was a bad person, because he was too sexually, explicit in his songs, I guess. He was too erotic. And really, that was not the case. He knew it wasn't, but he knew it connected him to God. But y'all know it was just a part of him. It was part of who he was. And he had to connect with that side to be connected with God. So that's all I'm going to talk about for now. I know I was kind of like rambling on, but if y'all want any more clarification in the comment section, just comment down below and I'll try my best to explain what else I'm talking about. But y'all stick around for the next part, which is the final symbol change, the one he actually went with. And I'll see y'all in that video.